Back in the game. It's taken me about an hour to realize that an hour isn't enough for me to build as cohesive a narrative as I would like to. So I ask you to indulge me. Stay with me. I'm going someplace. It may just take me a little while to get there. Feel free to jump in the comments. Matter of fact, while you're here, do the subscribe, hit the bell, and share this somewhere. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. Here we talk about three things. We talk about money, which is my favorite subject. We talk about social issues. And we talk about world travel, not just my life as an expat in different countries and living in Brazil, but lots of things. Today, a lot of people had their heads exploded. Mine as well. Let's do it this way. First, I want to say thank you to Jessica. Don't know what that means, but I love hearing it. Brother Vilak, good afternoon. Stay with me. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. I bought a new fan, computer cooler, and let me know if it's too loud. I got a message. The message said, "Have you seen this?" The message with a link to Fox News. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to do something I don't ordinarily do. I am going to, excuse me, I am going to start reading something that was sent to me. I don't normally read things through verbatim or anything like that, but for this, I think I'm going to have to read a few things directly so as not to misquote. You see, President Donald Trump has released something called the Platinum Plan. He's released many things. This is specifically directed towards Black Americans. Thank you, BK. And BK, if you want to come up, the kitchen is open. Let me know. I'll send your pass. Let's get into it. The Platinum Plan, President Trump's pillar. Opportunity. By achieving historic employment levels for Black Americans as well as increasing access to capital for new businesses, President Trump has been committed to ensuring all Black Americans can achieve the American dream. We can choose to argue that point, but I want to go through this. Security. By signing into law the celebrated First Step Act, President Trump has brought common sense to criminal justice reform to the American people for the first time in decades while ensuring that our streets and communities are safe for families and business owners. Prosperity. As the first president to provide long-term funding for historically Black colleges and universities. Can somebody fact check that for me? This administration continues to seek immediate and generational advancement for Black Americans. Fairness. As demonstrated through his actions to initiate investments into opportunity zones as well as address health disparities, wage gaps, and necessary education reforms, President Trump works every day to advance a fair and just America for the Black community. President Trump's promise to Black America over the next 4 years, which just happens to be one full presidential term. Let's be clear, President Trump is trying to buy Black America over the next. President Trump is trying to buy your votes. President Trump is trying to buy the vote of Black Americans. You all know how I feel about that. We've had long discussions here about that. I'm all for it. I'm the guy that did that show a while back. I'm going to try and find it for you. That said, why are we the only group of people that aren't really expected to ask for stuff in relation to our vote? It was called American Political Bribery Done Right. Here, let me share this screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about. And I want you all to go back and check this out. It was called American Political Bribery Done Right. Look at that. What that conversation entailed was the frustration that I felt being part of a group of people that everyone looked at and just said, I don't really have to ask who you're going to vote for, or how you're going to vote. I don't really need to ask, for my constituency to give you anything. We can just safely assume you're voting for our team. And by our team, I mean the Democratic Party that I was born into, and I've made no secret long before today, I'm shopping for a new political party because I've been very frustrated. And I said, all I want, even if I ended up voting the same way, is to not be someone you could just look at and say, I know where you're voting because of the color of your skin. Because we all know that when you get taken advantage of that way, when people can predict you, they don't have to take you into account. There you go. It looks like Donald Trump is handing out candy. I think they call it pork barrel spending in some political circles. He's saying, if you guys vote for me, I'll give you stuff. Well, that's music to my ears, because isn't that what everybody else gets? Now, I'm not a registered Republican. I'm still a registered Democrat who's probably going to go independent, right? But I've invited all my friends to come and give me a pitch on why I should join their political party. I feel like, let's see, Brother Sid Owsley said, you never give your vote without getting some kind of deal or promise or something for it in return. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So let's go back to the 4-year plan. The plan that over 4 years, one presidential cycle, he believes he will be able to give to the Black community. 3 million new jobs for the Black community, creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in Black communities by almost 500 billion with a B, safe urban neighborhoods with highest policing standards. I'm going to read that one again. Safe urban neighborhoods with highest policing standards. Commit to working on a Second Step Act, access to better education and job training opportunities. Give Black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community. I'm going to read that one again so it stays in my mind. Give Black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community. We're going to talk about that. Bring better and tailored healthcare to address historic disparities. Tailored healthcare means addressing some of the health disparities that may have come about because as a Black American, you were denied certain things. You may live in a food desert where the only food is fast food. You may live in an area where Walmart and supermarkets refuse to put in. Immigration policy that protects American jobs. I have more than one Black American friend who is either in a union or part of a union that said their jobs aren't being protected because when you can hire someone from any other country, they feel as if you can do it for a cheaper price. Wow, this is something. Advance home ownership opportunities to enhance financial literacy in the Black community. And enhance, now as someone who spent many years in the financial industry, I spent 9 years as a financial professional, which gave me the financial freedom to run my own businesses now and live around the world. And I'm not rich, but when you understand how money works, it becomes a great slave because it's no longer your master. Advanced home ownership opportunities. We can argue whether or not in 2020 owning a home is the right move for everyone the way it may have been in generations past. Enhance financial literacy in the Black community. He's not talking about just giving you some candy. He's saying, what if we taught you how money works, how credit is evil? Onshoring, manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for Black-owned businesses. I'm sketchy on that one. Because see, all of our jobs that require manufacturing, those have long since left the United States. And in the United States, we have a certain set of standards that says, you will pay this much and give us this much for our services. Now, paid for by Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated, okay? But I'm not gonna read the rest of this. But man, I don't know if we should believe him any more or less than any other presidential candidate incumbent or new. Let's see. Where can I find this here? Hold on. I'll put this in the, let's see. I'm going to put the link here so that you all can get it. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Because it's on. I downloaded it, so I've got to go back and find it. But while I'm looking for it, let's see. I can't find just the. Here's where I got it from. Okay, I got it right here on Fox News. The Platinum Plan from Trump is here. Boom. It's in the comments right now. The Platinum Plan from Trump is here. Interesting. Interesting doesn't even begin to cover it. Doesn't even begin to cover it. So now let's look at it this way. Let's say the Democratic Party, and I'm going to say this without any of my normal joviality or finger pointing. Let's say they look at this Platinum Plan and say, okay, he's planning on handing out these things to Black people in return for their vote. If Joe Biden sat down with his team with a pencil and pad, do you think they could come up with a better offer? Do you think they could even say, we're going to give you all the stuff he promised you and a buy one, get one coupon? If they even went that far, I'd be so much happier. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope the Democratic Party says, listen, clearly he's making a bid. This is the equivalent of a man walking down the street with a beautiful woman on his arm and another man just walking up and saying, excuse me, ma'am, can I have your phone number? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? He just walked up to you, looked your girl in the eye and said, can I have your phone number? Don't worry about him. You're welcome. What is the Democratic Party going to do? What if like most politicians, no matter what stripe, Donald Trump gets reelected and then, being a sneaky politician, says, oh, you know, things change. I can't even give you half of this stuff. What if he gave out 40% of what he promised? As Black Americans, you have been denied so much. We have been denied everything. That 40% would look like a gold mine. To a starving man, an old French fry is a feast. Brother Sid Owsley bringing some more wisdom. Trump has made the Democrats look like fools. Now they have to come up with something instead of taking the Black vote for granted like they usually do. Even now, what if tomorrow morning, okay, there we go. This is the closest to 45 helping the HBCUs. Let's see, that was 2019. Trump signs a bill funding for Black colleges. Thank you for helping me fact check that. And he already renewed something that was in place. What if he got into office and said, I can't give you all this stuff. You know, I've laid out this many, but I'm only going to give you 40%. Would he have still done 100 times more than the other presidents, particularly the Democratic presidents? No matter who you like. That's the scary part. And what if Joe Biden and his team come up with their own list? They've already lost the momentum. It's hard to look like a good fight. You know, George Foreman, legendary professional boxer, champion in 2 eras. I'm not a boxing guy, but George Foreman transcended boxing. He said, whenever you're in a fight, it's important to hit the other guy first. It sets a precedent. Now, that doesn't apply in the real world. In the real world, I'm a square. I'm all for avoiding violence and calling the police and running. I'm not trying to get into fisticuffs, but I am a competitor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've done some really, whatever the level is below amateur kickboxing, that's what I did. I always took that to heart. Even when I was going to lose, I wanted to attack first. I wanted to get into his head. I'm coming after you because it's hard to attack me if you're on defense. Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost. But now, Donald J. Trump, 2 months before the election, has done something unprecedented. Again, which is everything he's done has been unprecedented. He has changed the narrative. He has forced the United States of America to dance to his tune. He's calling the shots. And he always, and this is the thing about him, he never claimed to be on team good guy. Never claimed once to be a righteous or a noble man. Makes fun of decent Americans. Does horrible things to people, verbally and in every other political fashion you can think of. And now he does one good thing. One good thing, and that might put him over. You know, in the movies, I watched this old movie about a pirate. And there was a situation where the pirate had gone, he took some tough loss, his crew mutinied, he barely got away with his life. He was this evil, mean pirate. And he hated everybody, and he was killing folks, and he came across a situation where there was a dog. I don't know, maybe one of the dog's legs was broken, and he was in a situation where he might have gotten killed, and he picks the dog up, stuffs it in his coat, and he's going out blazing. And I read an article about that movie. And they said that the writer and the director, they did something that really good narrative storytellers will tell you is a great way to win the audience. You can be the worst person in the world, but if you do one kind act to someone who's defenseless, it redeems you. It works in fiction and in real life. Donald Trump has gone out essentially putting his dick on the table every day and saying, you can come and get this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the one day he treats somebody decently, the one day he pulls something out of his pocket that's not a big middle finger, the world doesn't know what to do with it. So what's going to happen now? Let's just say the Democratic Party pops up and says, don't believe him. He's lying. Okay, what do you have for me? That's not the issue at hand. Hold on a second. I need to make sure just because I'm digging my grave here. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that. Let's see. That you guys know where I'm coming from. I'm going to show you something that some of you may not have seen. I wrote an article a while back. Let me pull it up for you. This is back on my yousefwatif.com website, which I need to update. I need to update it with more of the YouTube videos need to go there. I'm going to put this on the screen, then I'm going to read it to you so you can be properly offended. I wrote this September 7th, 2016. Sodomize America's system with a Trump-Clinton mirror. A belly full of cold diarrhea after a night of cold fish tacos served out the back door of a Las Vegas whorehouse is more appetizing than either of the 2016 presidential candidates. The office of the presidency of the United States of America has always been and will most likely continue to be a reflection of what a great nation wants for its leader to be in 2016. I'm not going to read it all to you. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the link here for you. See, a lot of folks don't remember. I voted for Donald Trump specifically because I wanted to watch the world burn. I knew that he was team evil and made no bones about it, but he was better than Hillary Clinton, who would have maintained the status quo. Click that. Enjoy it. Feel free to be mad and come after me later. I'm okay with that. I'm here for decent conversation. Because this is not a one-off conversation. This is going to be an ongoing discussion. I've got some people coming for you. So now we're in a situation where the bad guy, the ultimate bad guy, says, I'm going to roll this out, and I'm going to make my enemy's team consider a mutiny. How many black people does he really need to win? I think he got 8% last time. If anybody wants to fact check me, it was I think it was 8%. And people would say, well, who are those 8% of black people who voted for him? There are people like me. Don't get me wrong. I prospered under Barack Hussein Obama. However, excuse me, a little excited. The financial prosperity that I enjoyed under Barack Hussein Obama was directly a result of my financial success and standing as a homeowner and a few other things. None of it came because I was black. I'm okay with that. You know, I understand I'm in a situation that a lot of black people aren't. Most Americans aren't even in a position to say they could just hold their own no matter what happened in the presidential office. But I can tell you, none of the gains that I got from Barack Hussein Obama were because I was black. The gains I got were economic gains due to my economic status, my tax status, my home ownership status, and things like that. But if this piece of candy, as I like to call things that politicians hand out, if this piece of candy turns out to be even half good, what does that do for America? If 45 is vying for Black American votes, and I'm guessing that polling has them way close to each other, with most Black Americans opting out of voting, everyone should be vying for that vote. Well said. What BK from the Rockies is illustrating is he's like, if a lot of Black people are kind of in the wilderness, as some people say politically, they're in the political wilderness, they don't know what to do, because do most Black people like Donald Trump? No. Have most Black people in the last 1 or 2 presidencies realized that the Democratic Party isn't giving you any real tangible benefits the way that the Republicans give theirs? Because remember, we're in a duopoly. We're in a 2-party system. No matter what anybody tells you, the 2 parties have locked everything up, right? You got one team that hands out a little bit of good stuff to their people every now and then, depending on where you are in the community and acceptability politics. I can talk about acceptability politics because stop the show. A new player has entered the fray. You ready? I just saw your camera pop up. He's getting ready behind the scenes. But another party says, we're going to fight no matter what, no matter who. If you're on our team, we don't care if you're evil, wrong, bad. Once you're on our team, we're just going to fight for you. And as long as you're a winner, you can stay. I'm not telling you that Republicans are less ethical people than Democrats. I'm not telling you Democrats are more ethical people than Republicans. What I am telling you is that when Democrats get caught doing something dirty, the first question that's asked is not whether or not he's dirty, it's, is he helping the team overall win? If the answer is yes, he gets to stay. Whereas with the Democratic Party, it's, ooh, do people not like you anymore? Sorry, we got to kick you out of the treehouse. Really? Really? So now you have a president who recognizes, and by the way, he's not afraid to call people out. You can bet your bottom dollar he is about to go on a reign of terror against the Democrats and say, yeah, this is what I'm offering. What do you guys got for him? No, really, Joe. Can you imagine that in a debate with Joe Biden? So here's some of the proposals I have to give the Black community, those swing voters who might not be voting for anybody. I want them voting for me. What do you have for them? Kamala Harris, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check this. I don't want to be wrong. If I'm not mistaken, I'm looking this up on the Google because, let's see, I don't want to misquote her. No, I'm not going to say what I think I'm going to say until I can prove it. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say what I thought unless I can find evidence that she said it. So yeah, it's like BK said. Right now we got people out in the wilderness who may not vote at all being wooed by Donald Trump. And who is he going after? Is it the stereotypical older Black voter, the stereotypical woman Black voter, because most of the people who vote in the Black community are women? Is he going for them? Is he going for the young nouveau riche? And all right, let's see if we can do this a little bit better.
Hey, Yusuf, what's up, man? How we doing?
Brother David.
Are we having a good discussion? Are we talking about Trump's throwdown gauntlet?
You know what? I think you're one of the very few people I'm going to say this for. I'm going to let you take the mic. You brought this to my attention.
Well, I think that that this is what people wanted, which was kind of like a bidding war for the black vote. And Trump has initiated proposal. We probably, there are some criticisms of it. It's just a proposal, but what he did is he actually put specific figures. Now, I'm not sure what the Biden administration has proposed in terms of specific. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know what the Biden.
We need a light in front of you. Do you have a light? A lamp?
Yeah, I can turn a light on. I can turn a lamp on, but I think that the Biden administration has proposed a program for targeted toward Black America or people of color. But Trump, in dramatic Trump fashion, came out with $500 billion program, and have you seen some of the nuanced points that the president supposedly is going to lay out? And so the question is that so basically what we have is we got the Democrats basically pretty much know or believe that they have the stop right there. 3 million new jobs for Black community, creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in Black communities by almost 500 billion. Safe urban neighborhoods with the highest policing standards, commit to working on a Second Step Act, access to better education and job training opportunities, compete for federal resources to the community, bring better and tailored health care to address historic disparities, immigration policy that protects American jobs. Now, stop right there. Immigration policy that protects American jobs. Now, that is one of the, that is a direct, specific kind of way of saying that, hey, if you go with the other party, there are going to be immigration policies that are going to directly affect your community. Let's continue on. Advance home ownership opportunities, enhance financial literacy in the Black community, onshoring manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for Black-owned businesses. Scroll up some more, Yusuf.
This way or this way?
Down.
That
yeah. Jobs, research, what does it say? Reach even greater levels of historic employment and wage growth for the Black community set in 2019 so that anyone looking for a job gets one. So one specific difference between these initial proposals, one developed by Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris campaign and Donald Trump, is Donald Trump, though he does use minority and people of color interchangeably, he is not afraid to use the word Black community, and that is specifically geared toward American descendants of slaves, or as one guy calls foundational Black Americans, specifically geared to a particular community within the minority community. Grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment, and encourage onshoring, development, domestic manufacturing, increase supply chain, business development, employment, examine barriers to employment, including fees, occupation license recognition, expungement. Those are basic standard Republican points.
Let me ask you a question. You just said something that I hadn't noticed, that Donald Trump uses the word Black. Is the word Black something that the Democratic Party hasn't used?
The Democratic Party has used African American, they use people of color, they use Black and brown. They're kind of like a coalition oriented type of terminology when it comes to Black Americans, and lumping them with people of color and minority and those kind of terms is kind of more loose. Trump, though he does use the term African American, the Republicans are now using or co-opting the term Black to try to, I don't know if this is a Hail Mary or Hail Mary last minute pass to appeal to the Black community. We're talking about those people, descendants of slaves, who have historically been disenfranchised. Now, without getting into this descendants of slaves versus non-descendants versus immigrant battle within the Black community, I find it very interesting that this attempt by Trump to, of course, siphon votes. And remember, he only has to siphon a few percentage points in his mind. And these Republican political scientists have pretty much know that there's enough dissatisfaction within the Black community. As I say, the barbershop talk. I go in the barbershop and I'm shocked at the number of black voters, black men who say they voting for Trump or say they're not voting at all. And in some of these swing states, if you get that percentage point of black Americans to sit out or click Trump Pence on the lever once they get in the booth, you could have a slight electoral college victory, that nail-biting victory, that 1 or 2 electoral college votes that Trump needs to get the election close enough to where he can get it either into the Supreme Court battle, which he'll win that, or he can get into a situation where he can win the electoral vote. I don't. He's not even going for the popular vote anymore. We all know that. But what's interesting isn't this? So this is kind of what we want, right? Well, as Democrat or Republican, we want kind of a bidding war for our vote. We want specific proposals. We want numbers. We want targeted specifics, regardless of whether we agree or not. We want proposals put out specific to address the ills of the black community. We want the BK from the Rockets, the 45 Hail Mary is almost brilliant. It's like Alabama football in the fourth quarter with 15 seconds left, and he does the Nick Saban bomb to the end zone. And we want specific proposals. We want specific numbers. And this puts Joe Biden and the Democrats back on the spotlight. It forces them to try to recommit and recampaign for those votes that they already assume that they have. I think everyone can agree in the black community, and some disagree, that pretty much Democrats figure they have the black community sold up regardless of who runs, who they put in office, no matter what he says, no matter how many gaffes he says, no matter how many slip-ups Biden says. We can show videotapes of Kamala Harris saying she's not going to do anything specific with black people. We can show videotapes of her putting a mom in jail in San Francisco for switching school districts. We can talk about her as a prosecutor.
Brother David, you said something about Kamala Harris that I thought about earlier, but I wasn't quite sure. Can you tell me where she said that? Because I don't want to misquote someone.
Well, I'll give you the reference. I'll go here and just give you the reference so that you can look it up yourself. But, Kamala Harris has a spotty record with the black community. And, right now, reparations is a big talk among a lot of black Americans. And Kamala and Joe have made it clear that they're not for not for that kind of action. And so this is I'm going to send you this link here. And I don't want to mischaracterize her because I know that she's been in politics for a long time, but I'm going to send this to you, Yusuf, right now.
I told y'all that Kamala Harris is nothing more than a culture vulture. Okay, she's a chameleon,
and
she's a wolf.
I wish I could put it in the stream, but let me
okay?
Give it to me.
Black, but she's not.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you right now.
Black community. Okay, I'm going to play an audio of an interview, a recent interview,
and I think that I sent it to you. I'm sending it to your email right now. I think that basically, she's a career politician, and she's definitely a very establishment Democrat politics and positions. And I don't think that she generates the excitement amongst the left in the left wing of the Democratic Party, nor does she she doesn't get anything in specifics. I'm glad the brother brought up, because there was a video out of a Democrat outreach of some strippers talking about get out the vote. Okay. That was very offensive. That was viral all over Twitter on this ignorant outreach showing these strippers on the pole saying, hey, you can't make it rain if you ain't got no job, or something ignorant like that. There's also videos of Kamala Harris, getting off the plane wearing Timberlands. She's, snapping her fingers and jerking her neck with on the Breakfast Club, or she's, now she's skewing the AKA thing. All of these very immature, very sad appeals to black people based on caricatures.
It's like Vilak said, the political immaturity is sad.
He's on it.
The fact that they don't just think, but they know you can get more black votes with Timberland boots on than you could just by saying, let's sit down and talk about some of the issues plaguing our community. The fact that and I have nothing against fraternities and sororities, but that is more of a trigger than, hey, my name is Kamala and maybe I've got something to help get more black people in college and stay there.
Well, as I say, we have to ask ourselves the painful question. This is a question that's painful for me. And it's a painful for all of us. And we know it's not a simple solution, but the Republicans do have a talking point. Every blue city is suffering Democrat-run cities, Democrat-run towns, blue policies. We had 8 years of Obama. We've had 8 years of Clinton, and the same South Side Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Buffalo, these cities are in the seemingly same condition year after year after year. And so we have a problem in the fact that when we do elect these officials and we do get this sweeping Democratic machine into the politics, into the policies, into the government, they don't seem to affect anything on the ground. It turns out to become a lot of bureaucracy. And so the Democratic Party has a very big weakness, especially in terms of credibility with the black community now. Another odd thing is that prison reform, it's odd. I know that Kanye West's wife got on this prison reform thing, and a few, black folks were released from prison that had been injustice, and there's millions more. But it's kind of odd that we haven't been able to get this prison reform thing started with. We couldn't get really any traction with it with Obama. We couldn't get any good traction with it with Clinton. We couldn't get any traction. And now it's ironic that now we've got Trump, who just comes with this out and out blatant crazy talk against all kinds of folks. All of a sudden we get more traction with him than we do with what we consider our traditional allies. So it's kind of in a pickle for those black folks that are independent, that haven't decided. The question is that if the Republican Party, as nasty as they are, if they came up with specific proposals, numbers, and targeted programs to advance particular segments of the black community, because you can't fix everything. Right. Would that be enough for you to say, I might get the votes? Or if the Democratic Party got up there and say, I love hot sauce with my chicken, that makes me down, would you? Yeah, and that's basically what they're doing. I mean, the Democrats come up here and they say, I put hot sauce on my stuff. And they get on the Breakfast Club and black talk shows, and that makes us supposedly have to support them. And the Republicans, who pay us no attention at all, they really have no reason to pay us any attention. Then how can we use this leverage? Can we get the Democrats into a bidding war? Can we say Joe Biden, Kamala, okay, Trump done thrown down his half a trillion. Can we get $1 trillion?
That would get $2 trillion. Trump says, I'll give you $500 billion. What if let's not even go to full T. Let's say they say we're gonna give you that plus 10%. Do you think they could even make that promise? And still, remember, the Democratic organization, no matter what they do, is responding. It's kind of like in comic books, they always talk about why it's always better to be a bad guy than a good guy. The villains incite action. Good guys respond. The villains give you something to respond to.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's so odd. There was a comment just made. Someone said, Charles making good points. The other brother made a good point. He said, hey, man, all these police killings are in Democratic towns. Seattle, one of the most liberal cities in the country. All these shootings. They're happening in Chicago. They're happening in New York. They've been talking. Look at this. He's and then the other brother talks about the gerrymandering Republican Party. So we literally are on a chessboard, and the black community are the pieces, and you have two chess masters playing with the pieces, playing both sides of the board. That's how I feel that we're being played. That's how I feel that we're being played right now in the community. We're being played on this master chess game, and we're losing at all sides right now. We are locked up in a Democratic Party, which doesn't have to do anything for us. We have an insincere Republican Party, which makes it more difficult for us to vote. They gerrymander, they do all these things. and then we're locked in this internal battle between in the black community between the older traditional, preacher, pastor, church going crowd who says we should just vote Democrat anyway and pray that they can do something, and the younger, more aggressive, more progressive black crowd who's saying, no, we're tired of doing this. So what are we going to do? Is that and I think this is a step. I know it comes from an odd source, and I know a lot of people are going to criticize, but these are the type of proposals, at least it's not perfect, but we've got to get to specific proposals. We want specific numbers, targeted dates. We want specific things. I don't care if it's like, hey, I'm going to donate $10 billion to every HBCU. I'm going to put 1.5 million black folks in homes, or we're going to get a job, or we're going to develop manufacturing plants right in the black community, specifically target and hire black Americans. These are the type of policies and programs that our people want to hear. They want to experience. They want to get a hold of. We are tired of, and I can't speak for everybody, we're tired of this general song and dance, hum, and
it's getting loud outside. I gotta go close my window. Hold on. Keep going.
Feel good action that's going on. And I think we're going, I think we're maturing because we're no longer concerned about do people like us, because that was the old philosophy. Hey, if we integrate and we get to know these folks and move into their neighborhoods and shut down our businesses and give these folks all our money, they'll know us and they'll get to like us and they'll accept us. Well, that paradigm has not worked. So now I think we're maturing to the point like, okay, it doesn't matter if you like us or not. We need to get a piece of the pie. We need to develop and strengthen our communities and have the same opportunity to develop our own institutions with the money that is owed to us as taxpayers and with the historical disenfranchisement. We don't want to let people off scot-free so that we can play on the same ball field, because we believe, and I believe the majority of people, and I believe that you give us a level playing field, it's going to be like the NBA. It's over. We're going to dominate, or we're at least going to be able to compete. And so we are in a pickle. We're in a catch-22. We have the Democratic parties, which on paper, on face, seems to be friendlier, but they can't run no business. The cities that they run, the governments and cities and states that they dominate are doing terrible. Our people are suffering. And then we have the Republican Party. The Republican Party does all these tricks and side moves and all this political game playing shit so that we can't even vote. Playing games with politics. They're against some of our favorite policies, such as affirmative action, all this stuff the Republicans are against. But the Republicans, ironically, may be the party that most likely would even think about reparations. I don't know. Where do you go from here? There's no third independent party that can split and that can vie for our vote that's made any offers. So right now, Trump has thrown down the gauntlet by going with this Hail Mary pass. You're right. It's absolutely a Hail Mary program to try to figure out some way to bust up just a little bit the black monolithic voting block that the Democratic Party has in their hip pocket. There's one weapon that the Democrat has, and that is they know that they have the black community. So much so that Joe Biden said, well, didn't he say that the Hispanic community is more diverse than y'all? Remember when he said that? Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Joe Biden has come and made excuses about his support for segregationists. Kamala Harris is making excuses and backtracking on her policies. She's now making excuses on that statement. She says that she's not going to do anything specific for the black community. That would be not proper. She's backtracking on that. But they seem friendlier. They seem nicer. They talk nicer. They smile. They'll go to a black church. They'll go to a black football game. Some may even attend a black HBCU. But as BK from the Rockies says, tangibles. What can they offer us specifically?
Now watch this. Chris Tripp says everyone I talked to and asked them what did Biden say that he was going to do specifically for black people, and all they have in response is getting Trump out of office. Now here's the thing. I just had a private message come to me and asked me to address this. This is called, I believe they call it the Lift Every Voice by Joe Biden / Black America, right? First, it does ask for the, hey, we want to get some donations. Totally get that. We're going to click continue to Joe Biden. And apparently I've been told Trump is the reactionary because Joe Biden wrote this plan before that. So let's find out.
Okay, let's go into it. This is what we want. We want a bidding war. This is the kind of reaction that we want.
Disrepair impact. Okay, show me. Tackling systematic. Okay, the plan. Advance economic mobility of African Americans, include the racial wealth and income gaps, expand access to high quality education, and tackle racial inequity in our education system. Make far-reaching investments in ending health disparities by race, strengthen Americans' commitment to justice, make the right to vote and the right to equal protection real for African Americans, and address environmental justice.
That's interesting. Approximately 4% of small business owners are African American. Even though African Americans make up 13% of profits, to build wealth in African American business, we must invest in the success of African American business and entrepreneurs. Okay, I like that. That sounds nice, but what we want to hear is not just to build wealth in African American communities. We must invest in the success of African American business entrepreneurs. We want to hear specific numbers. 10 billion in lending, 1 billion in funds. Biden will extend the program to 2025 and double its federal funding to 3 billion, driving close to 30 billion.
Wait, that was the Obama-Biden administration. That's not Biden, so we can't count that.
Okay, so expand the new markets, tax credit. Okay, tax credit. Biden will double funding of the community development financial institutions, which supports local mission-driven financing low-income in the United States, builds on Biden's role to support entrepreneurs in small towns and rural areas and combining. Okay, small towns and rural areas. Okay, he's combining different groups. Not saying that there's not black folks in rural areas, but that's kind of like, okay, keep going. Improve and expand the small business administration programs that most effectively support African American owned businesses. The small business programs have been and remain one of the most effective ways of addressing capital for African American owned businesses. Okay.
Making permanent the successful community. Again, Obama Biden, can't count that.
Increase the opportunities of African American business in the aftermath.
Nope. It was.
I'm not seeing.
But here's the thing: we can't keep counting things that were done during the Obama era because they keep using the Obama Biden. You can only have one president.
I don't see. I'm disappointed because I want to see more specific. I don't care about what Obama and Biden did. We know what Obama and Biden did, and look at our
Obama-Biden administration. I don't know if you can see this there. I clicked the Control F to find. I don't think you can see it there, but it says the phrase Obama-Biden administration appears 17 times in this document. The name Obama alone appears 26 times.
I think they're just taking us as a joke. They're taking our vote for granted. They're taking our vote for granted. It's talking about the Trump and what Obama.
Okay, here we go. As president, Biden will invest $640 billion over 10 years, so every American has. We didn't see the magic word black. Well, can't count it. Expand African American homeownership and access to affordable, safe housing, but he doesn't say that the $640 billion will go to black people. Can't count that.
Tax credit. I again.
Trump. We're not talking about Trump. We're talking. Biden will create new public credit reporting agency with the consumer.
You can see. If you look,
and I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put it in the comments for anybody that wants to have anything they want to cut out of that to show us to go into. Did we get to read this word by word? No. is this giving us any of the, and I'm going to go out there and say it, buzzwords? Is this giving us any of us of the hard-hitting, well-written that I am a professional writer and editor.
No tangibles.
I can tell you what words work.
Tangibles. We need specifics. We need more specifics from both. But
That's what we're looking at, Mario.
But for the Biden campaign to have so much overwhelming support from the Black community, the most loyal wing of the Democratic Party, the Black vote, which will go maybe 90% or 100%. Yet people of color and all that other stuff. For the Democratic Biden machine to roll out, in my opinion, a program so weak that all Trump has to do is put the word black and say, I'm going to do this and do that. And it already got the Biden campaign scrambling, is just disrespectful, because this is a community that has loyally supported the Democratic Party for years and has not getting rewarded for it. It's just not. I mean, not getting the rewards for it. If the Democratic Party wants to campaign for the Jewish vote, they will go to AIPAC. They will go to AIPAC. They will go to specific organizations, and they will make specific pledges. And we can't deny that Obama was a good president for everybody. I'm not gonna turn Obama down, but Obama's gone now. It's no longer Obama.
But what did you say? He was a good president for everybody.
It's Trump and it's Biden. And Joe can't say, well, back in Obama administration, he did this and he did. We want Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be more aggressive in specifically addressing the historical ills and repair of the Black community with tangible, specific programs, specifically targeted with targets, numbers, dates, and figures for the Black community. We no longer want any feel good, hold hands, we shall overcome, sing, clap, dance. We're going to get up there and do the electric slide with Roland Martin. We don't want any of that anymore. And that's what we're saying. That's all we're saying. Nobody's sitting up here jumping on Obama. Obama is gone. He is a president who was president for 8 years. Despite my criticisms of Obama, he had a scandal-free, pretty decent presidency. I do have some criticism of Obama, and Obama is not untouchable to be criticized. And I'm Black. That's right. I'm breaking the Black rule and criticizing the former Black president. But this continual feel good, lift every voice and sing, hand holding, playing on the themes of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it just sounds like they're just trying to play us again. We're going to get 95% of the Black vote anyway, so why give them anything? I mean, think of it. If you were a Democratic strategist, a liberal strategist, why would you do anything for the Black community? Why would you say, well, let me go work on the Hispanic community. Let me go work on the Jewish community. Let me go work on the Asian community. Let me go work on the white middle class community.
I can hear Stephen Story's voice in my head because we're friends. I can tell you he's not kidding when he wrote that. Like, he wasn't saying that in the ha-ha voice, I don't think the Dems had an actual plan. He's stating, I don't think the Democrats had a plan. They thought, well, here's what I said. Thought anybody but Trump would be enough. Of course, isn't that what they thought last time with Hillary Clinton?
Well, I'm in Michigan and I'm a swing state, and I'm going to tell you that I hardly see a Biden poster anywhere except in the Black areas, and I don't see much. I see Trump. I see Trump posters and billboards. They dominate the suburbs. They just had a guy. He had a float. He was going up and down one of the most popular Black restaurants in Detroit on the Avenue of Fashion. Just had a Trump rally, Black-owned restaurant in a city that's 75 billion % Black, 80-something % Black. A major Black restaurant had a Trump rally. I don't see the excitement for Biden and Harris. I don't see it. And that's because the Biden, Harris, and the Democratic machine have just simply taken this vote for granted. They said black folks are going to help us anyway because Trump's a racist, he's a bigot, and they're not going to trust him anyway. And we got these black folks voting. They'll, Kamala, put on some Timberlands and go up and down the, go enter the car with some Timbs on, wears a hat on backwards, wear your Howard, throw your AKA sign, and these Negroes will just vote for you any kind of way. And I'm just very disappointed that they've not addressed reparations whatsoever, just totally disrespected. They've not addressed this ridiculous police issue that we've gone on. They've not addressed specifically targeted numbers, hardcore numbers. They've not addressed it. And I think they're afraid to. Because they want to get that undecided white suburban voter. That's what the Democratic Party is catering to right now. So, I mean, the criticism is there. I mean, and then the crime bill, we have Joe in the crime bill, which Clinton apologized for. I'm serious, man. When I say that I'm undecided, when I say that I'm going to go in that booth and might hit Joe Jorgensen, I say and I go in that booth and I might hit Green Party.
Hey, read Charles Explorer. He said, no, I couldn't agree more with that statement. The reason able to dominate the voters are because no matter how ridiculous the talking points are, they stick together. Democrats can't. There's a phrase that some of my political heads know. It says, Republicans fall in line, Democrats fall in love.
And there's some serious divisions within the Democrat. There's some serious divisions within the Democratic machine is so all over the place. There's so many different issues, from environmental justice to the LGBTQ community to, you're dealing with a conservative social black community with the liberal economic program with historic racism. You're trying to mix in the immigrant community, and sometimes the immigrant community is going in the total opposite direction of the black community. And there's a lot of different factions and factors in the Democratic Party. It's a lot more complex. You're right. The Republicans are on code. Republicans just locked down and back their man. Now, there's some disgruntlement in the Republican Party. Trust me, there's some never Trumpers who are trying to figure out how to survive this so they can eke their way out of this. And there's some dissension within the ranks in the Republican Party. Don't be fooled that they're all perfect. There's some dissension going on within that Republican Party right now, especially as Trump begins to flamethrow his own party. But, as Craig's right, we have to take responsibility and hold leaders specifically accountable. We have a Coke and a smile and sit down like we always do. And it looks like it's happening again. Do I think that this Trump proposal is going to sway a whole bunch of... I'm afraid that it doesn't matter what Trump said or any Republican said, or really don't matter what Kamala or Joe say. We're going to vote Democrat anyway. The question is, are we going to vote in the same numbers as we did in the Obama campaign? That's the worry. So, it's, no specific, no tangible, no specific addressing specific issues. We can't even get reparations for Flint, Michigan, and the water. They literally put lead in the water. The government admitted to it. The government settled it. They can't even get. We can't even get these. And that was a liberal government. They can't even say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We messed up. We owe you billions.
Look at what ENTP said. He said Trump is going to win by a landslide. A landslide. Now, get this, people. I hope whoever wins, and I'm stealing this point from another political analyst, not that I'm a political analyst, but he said, they asked him who he thought was going to win, and he thought about it. He says, I genuinely don't care as long as they win by a landslide, like an absolute beating, because, and these are his words, I forget who I'm crediting him to, they weren't my words, but he said, if this country has a close election, we won't survive it.
Well, this is what I believe is going to happen. I believe on the vote, the night of the election, Trump is going to be leading. And then as the ballots come in, the mail-in ballots come in, Biden is going to start catching up. So we'll be up until the end of the night on election night, not knowing who's going to win the election. And I believe that Biden is going to get the popular vote like Hillary did. And I believe that it's going to go down to a few states. And if it's that close, Trump will challenge it. The Republican governors will challenge it, and it will go into the courts. And that is how I believe that the United States will elect Donald Trump for another 4 years. I believe it will be close. I believe the Supreme Court will rule like during the Gore campaign, Gore fiasco. They will rule in the Republican favor, and Kamala and Joe are going to say, well, for the sake of unity, we're going to just take this one for the team, and we're going to try to get Trump out. We're going to try to get Don Jr. out in 2024. We'll try to defeat Don Jr. And I think Trump will cut up his last 4 years as president. He will be a untethered, loose cannon that will be able to pretty much say.
You mean, wait. Why isn't he right? Isn't that what he is right now?
No, because he wants to get reelected. So he hasn't really unleashed. But once he unleashes.
What do you think he's going to do if he gets reelected and the chains come off? What happens?
Well, the first thing that happens is that you will see a super aggressive federal intervention in civil unrest. You'll see more black vehicles pulling up and throwing people in jails. You will see more proposals like Tennessee proposing that people who protest can't vote and all kind of crazy. You'll see more proposals like that. You'll see way more inflamed rhetoric. You'll see a slew of executive orders that will be absolutely ridiculous, that the courts will just be mealy mouthed. You probably see Roe versus Wade go. You will probably see, you may even see the Civil Rights Act of 1964, 1965 go. You may even see some other key court decisions get reversed. You will see the lawsuits, the affirmative action, affirmative action has already been overturned. You'll see more lawsuits with that be completely overturned. You'll see a lot more of fiery brand executive orders, full court press, burn the house down from Trump. You will see more and more of that. You will see a complete realignment of the global military order, and NATO might dissolve under Trump in another 4 years.
Damn.
And I know a lot of people, I know that might not affect, the streets every day, but eventually that will have a ripple effect, and you'll see the global presence and respect of the United States be permanently damaged beyond repair, if it's not already now, with another 4 years of Trump. What you will get is you'll probably get some more prison reform. Trump will probably make some more public moves vis-a-vis the black community. I don't know what Trump's going to do. And that's the thing. We don't know what he will do in another 4 years. He's hard to predict because he's unpredictable. So people are like, well, this is just a show so he can get reelected. The real Don will come out then. But I think he's just going to continue to clown, and he's going to be totally he won't have to worry about reelection, and he'll say and do anything because he'll be a lame duck president after he gets reelected. That'll be it, unless he tries to go for a constitutional amendment to add another term, which I think is highly unlikely because of the way our government is structured. In order to pass another amendment, you have to have, 3/4 in both houses. No, 3/4 of the states have to vote. But one good thing about Trump is forced all of us to go back to civics class 101. If you haven't, ENTP might be right. He says landslide. I'm not even close. And if that is the case, if Trump, Social Security would definitely be destroyed because of the tax. Trump is going to do a massive tax cut that would probably throw Social Security into some kind of chaos. So it would end up becoming some kind of 401k or something like that. He definitely would burn the house down. Definitely, Big Don will burn the house down if he gets reelected 4 years. Now, if Biden wins another 4 years, we haven't looked at the other hand. So for those of us who are thinking that Joe Biden can save the day, if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win without, and once they quell the wave of violence and foolishness that will happen between November and January, the Senate will be Republican, the Congress will be Democrat, and the courts will be conservative. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will have a hard time passing anything. And you will see Joe Biden go from left to moderate to try to appeal to more suit and tie Republicans. You'll see Joe Biden go into his I call him old Master Joe mode, where he'll be a more conservative Democrat or Republican. You'll see Joe go into a more conservative mode to try to pass bills because he's got to get along. And the Republicans are going to block everything there is. We don't control any of these state governors or these states, so it will be a mess. It will be a mess either way. I think he'll calm the international treaties and NATO and all that stuff. I know he'll try to restore all that. I think his tax cuts, his tax raising will cause an initial shock to the stock market. That's going to make a lot of people panic the first year or two. And then in the last 2 years of Joe Biden, if the Democrats can win the Senate, maybe he can do something and pass some bills. But I don't see a lot of economic prosperity from either potential president, except Trump, the mega rich, the big corporations, the Amazons, they'll make a whole lot of money with these massive taxes.
I want to say first, thank you to Brother Yesh. He just bought us some coffee, probably, and he and I connected down here in Brazil. Yesh goes back and forth from Brazil, speaks Portuguese. His channel is very different from mine. He's very, very much who he is. Everybody should go to travel with Brazil Yesh and check out his channel. And ENTP Life said that if all the money goes out of the United States, you'll see me in Brazil and everywhere else. So yeah,
we're going to be looking at a rough 16 to 20 years. We're going to be looking at some rough decades, and then we can't even talk about the international scene as these rival countries, Russia and China, begin to challenge United States hegemony and United States military supremacy as they begin to challenge the United States in all areas. So we don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see. But I'm again. This throwdown with these competing for the black vote, at least on the surface, is the beginning of the conversation that we want to have, and we want it to be more specific as it goes along. Why
haven't everybody hit the like button? I know everybody. I'm hoping everybody in here has hit the subscribe button. Make sure you go to the like button. If you're watching this from Facebook, that's fine. Also go into the YouTube app, but that's important. Wow. One of the things let me go back for a second. Let me show you something relevant to, where is it? ENTP, what he said. I don't know how many people watching are watching for the first time, and those of you who know me already know what's coming. A good chunk of my career has changed. Something I used to do privately, and I put myself here I'll put myself in the chat for anybody who wants to add me on LinkedIn. I'm doing expat relocation services for the past 2 years. I help people who come to Brazil with their paperwork, CPF number, which is Social Security number, all the paperwork necessary. It's a long, not fun journey. The good news is with my company, we do it all the time, so we can help people get out of America, come to Brazil, and legally allocate themselves to Brazil. Legally. And that's one of my businesses that is directly affected by the United States, because unfortunately right now a lot of people are saying, you know what, I just want to get out.
Do you think, Yusuf, that do you think there will ever be a serious run? Do you think the Republican Party can ever seriously make a run for the black vote ever?
Well, here's the thing. We might have it right now. He might be making a serious run for it right now. We don't know if this is a bluff. Mm-hmm. But if this is not a bluff, it changes everything. Hey, Mark, thanks for subscribing.
Do you think that that there will ever be a serious breakup of the Democratic Party if they lose this election. I remember the Bernie Sanders crowd, which is enthusiastic and young and exciting, they feel slighted again. They feel that the Democratic machine made the safe choice. And you think if Biden gets Hillaried, he gets whooped by Trump, do you think the Democratic Party will just break up into like another faction of the party that will be like a progressive wing that will just not go with the program? Or do you, or you know, the Democratic Party is at the crossroads because they have shut out the far left wing of the party. They successfully shut it down several times.
And that's what I'm getting at. If the youth, if the people under 30, probably under 25, have finally had enough, we might very well see it happen.
Because I'm looking at what do we turn if the Democratic machine loses? Let's assume that the black community, 97, 98, 99%, whatever number it is, votes for Democrats, votes for Joe Biden and Harris. And we lose. We don't gain in the Senate. We don't win any governor houses. What bargaining chips will we have at all for the next 4 years?
None.
If the Republicans win, a squeaker or by landslide, as ENTP says, what bargaining chips will we have?
It would be a validation of everything everyone's criticizing right now. If the Republicans win, if we have another 4 years of President Trump, he will use that to justify everything he had ever been criticized for, because he can actually legitimately say, look at me now. Charles said we haven't even broached the Russian element and what they're doing worldwide without any real resistance from Trump.
And Charles is bringing up an excellent point, because if Joe Biden and Harris get elected, you know that we are immediately going into Cold War mode with Russia. Is America ready for that?
No. I don't know that we have anybody alive right now who's ready, including us.
Look at Cookies and Cream. Where Joe Biden is offering the "You Ain't Black" plan. You down for that, African Americans?
Oh wait, Cookies and Cream also said, and welcome Cookies and Cream. I don't know if I recognize your avatar. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Craig, he doesn't need the black vote. White men, put him in there. There are a lot of black people that voted for him. I believe 8% of black voters voted for Donald Trump. And Stephen's story
was that the most ever?
Yeah, I think so. The most black people that voted Republican voted for Donald Trump.
And was that due to Hillary's just unpopularity?
People refused to believe that everyone understood they were both evil. It's just, again, Donald Trump will put his dick on the table and say, hey, this is me. Whereas Hillary claimed to be everybody's friend. Hillary Clinton was an evil person. Not that Donald Trump was any better. But look at what I think we'll see, a Democratic Party version of the Tea Party coming soon. I don't know what we'll call that party. We could call it the Coffee Party, the Coffee Club. But I could see that happening. People on the extreme left of here's the thing. People on the extreme left of the Democratic Party now are actually probably centrists.
Yeah, I just think right now we're still battling the Booker T. Washington versus E.B. Du Bois demons in our community. We have those that want to go with let's integrate, let's get everybody along, let's form this broad coalition of people of color. And then we have those black folks like no, just give us what you owe us and let us do for ourselves. And we got an issue because we have this big divide in our community right now between what I call the old Biden faithful, the old Democratic faithful, and the folks that say I'm not going to vote at all if I'm not getting anything addressed. And that's a big problem right now for the Democratic Party and the Black community, is how do they keep that suburban mom at the same time they're addressing all these urban issues? Because as you well know, let's talk about the liberal community right now. The liberal community has the same white flight as the conservative white community. We have the same racial issues with the liberal white community as we do with the conservative white community. We have the same issues: policing, white flight, gentrification, bias in the workplace. It's the same song and dance. And it's funny because we have a lot of our people who live in these blue states. They live in Michigan, they live in Ohio, and they're running to Georgia. They're moving. Black folks are voting with their feet to Texas, to Florida, to South Carolina, to North Carolina, where there's jobs, where they can get some land, where they can buy a house, where they can afford it. So we have this public face of, yes, we need all these programs and this and that, but then we have the reality on the ground of these people who are running and moving to red states. The most popular state.
Wow. Mark Swift said South Carolina Black voters saved and kicked off Jim Crow Joe's campaign. Whew.
Jim Crow Joe. Is he talking about Joe Biden?
I believe that's what he's referring to. Joe Biden has, in polite circles, they say Joe Biden has a complicated history of Black people. The reality is he's on the wrong side.
He's the old Democrat, the old Democrat segregationist. That's what his background is, and he kind of just went with the party. So he's an older. She's got a lot of issues. You know, he was against busing. You know, Kamala Harris put on that song and dance where she was that little girl and she was affected and she called him a racist. I mean, do you remember that when she called him basically a racist during the debate? What happened to all that? That doesn't mean anything now. I'm gonna send you the link. I'm gonna send you that snippet where she just went off on Joe Biden. All that's forgiven now? Is all that just forgotten? You know, of course, Joe said, well, you know, you mischaracterized me and blah, blah, blah. That's why I was shocked when she was nominated.
Well, I was angry because before I knew as much about her, I wanted only one. This is what I wanted. I wanted Biden Abrams 2020. The purest tasting water.
Who made that?
And it's not the one you think.
I don't know.
Who made that?
That's what I wanted.
Well, I think the Democratic liberal machine said, you know, we don't want anybody that's too Black. Let's go ahead and let's get Kamala. She's kind of a We Are the World person. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. But after Kamala had attacked Joe, I just sent you the link of the clip where she just went off on Joe Biden. After she attacked Joe viciously in them debates, I just knew that she wasn't going to, and she could barely win the, she didn't do very well in the primary. She lost a lot of steam, and I was surprised, and I'm like, okay, well, what does she bring to the table? Okay, she's a woman, she's a person of color, but what does she bring to the table in terms of what constituency is she bringing? A large constituency is she bringing to the table in order to help fill the Democratic coffers and votes? I don't know. I know what Elizabeth Warren could have brought over. I know what Bernie Sanders could have brought over. But I'm not sure what Kamala Harris brought over. In terms of,
I think my window didn't close all the way. I think I rushed back. Hold on, because we got these big flying green things. Hold on a second.
So while Yusuf is gone, we're talking about the Donald Trump $500 billion proposal, specifically addressing Black America. And is this the start of the conversation about? Is this start of a reparations conversation? Is this start of a dialogue between Black America and the country on repairing the historical disenfranchisement and financial ills coupled with social ills that have affected our community? Or is this just more of the same game? And how does this affect the Democratic Party? Now that Yusuf is back, we can continue on. But as I say, I was shocked because I didn't know what she brought to the table in terms of a tangible constituency that would help progress the Democratic Party. It just looks like Joe made a safe choice.
He made a very safe choice. I don't think there's anybody she's bringing to the table. I don't personally know anybody, Democratic or Republican, that's like, you know, I understand why he got Kamala Harris. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Stacey Abrams would have brought a full set of steam with her. But Stacey Abrams, again, would have probably made a good push to actually represent Black people.
So why do you think Stacey Abrams was overlooked?
Because Stacey Abrams probably would have made a big push to help Black people.
Wow. That's disappointing, because that means Joe Biden is got no intention of specifically helping Black folks in anything.
I think Joe Biden is going to get shoehorned into some flaccid attempt at countering the counter of what we just saw earlier today with this platinum plan. I think, I don't know where we're going to go.
When is the debate? Tuesday? The debate is Tuesday, and Trump is going to go after Biden hard on the Black community. He's going to go after the Democrats. He's going to say they don't respect y'all. They treat y'all like trash. They don't respect your vote. And Trump's going to run that old line, I'm the greatest president for Blacks since Abraham Lincoln, blah, blah, blah. He's going to go in hard on Joe Biden. Yep. And how Joe responds is going to be his lifeline. If Joe Biden responds,
Joe Biden could have an army of the greatest staffers in the world. And I'm just talking about optics here. I do not in any way diminish him as a human being, as a man. But the optics of Joe Biden simply losing his way halfway through the conversation. That's a real thing.
Well, I mean, everybody is talking about his senility and does he have dementia and is he all there? But what's BHO? That's interesting.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, I could see Obama kind of trying to guide the Biden campaign right now, because that sounds like an Obama move. Trump's going to come after Biden hard. He's going to come after him on the Black community. He's going to come after Hunter. He's going to come after his family. He's going to call Joe crooked. He's going to call him all kind of names. And is Joe going to come out hard, or is he going to try to be politically correct and try to be presidential? Because
here's the thing. You can't start being the bad guy halfway through the fight. You can't suddenly, I'm going to kick him in the balls. What would happen then? What would happen if Joe Biden said, you know what? I'm going to have to play this game dirty. I'm going to have to give a nasty fight. How's that going to work?
Well, if he doesn't, and if he comes off weak, that is going to either alienate people, or people say, I'm just not going to sit out. Or, we're assuming that the American voter is a mature voter, that he's not emotional, he's looking at the facts. When in fact, we just have a WWE match. We have a WWF match. We basically have two rappers up there having a battle rap. They're playing the dozens on each other. And Trump is one of the best dozens player. I mean, Trump got it down cold. I mean, talk about your mama, give out your phone number, say, what? Remember, you was begging for me money. You call you fat, ugly, talk about your mama, do all that crazy stuff. And American people just eat it up. They're like, oh my God, this is what we want, a clown show. And I don't know if that Joe Biden being presidential, being reserved and stoic, I don't know if that's going to work. He may have to just get ignorant. And I don't think that and Joe can talk, Joe got a mouth, but Joe makes a lot of mistakes. And I think they're going to say, Joe, we want you to be dignified, like Kamala is going to be dignified with Mike Pence. Now, Kamala Harris is going to beat Mike Pence up. That's going to be That's going to be terrible. She's a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. She can talk. She's going to beat Mike Pence up and down the thing. But Mark Swift is on it because Trump's gonna go after that during the debate and talk about him and talk about his family and call him a loser and say your family committed suicide, which means that you ain't nothing but a no good so and so and such and such. And how is Joe Biden gonna handle that?
He doesn't have. Here's the thing: there are no rules. No matter what you sign up for, when you go up against Donald Trump, there are no rules. Now you can choose to follow your own rules, or you can try to play his game, but there's no way to engage him and think it's not going to get nasty because he'll just decide it's going to get nasty. What are you going to say about it? What are you going to say that he hasn't said about himself? What do you say that he hasn't admitted to?
I mean, this man is rough now. And I don't think Joe, and then when Joe Biden is challenged on the black community, when he goes after the Democratic Party and says that, you're the party of slavery and you take the black vote for granted, the Democratic Party is going to have a specific response for that other than, well, he's just lying. In order to get those, undecided black voters to go in, it's not the worry about black voters going to vote for Trump. It's the worry about black voters going and not voting or skipping or writing in somebody else.
As we start to bring this home, I want to read something that Brother Sid Owsley said. He says, Mark said, there should not be a bidding war for the black vote. The black misleadership should be asking each party what their next move is going to be to help black folks. Wouldn't it be nice?
Sid, absolutely outstanding.
Our vote. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sid got comment of the night, man. Can you send him a shirt? Because
I'm about to have coffee. Wouldn't that be great if the very first thing that happened is we realized they're fighting for our vote?
Yes, and get in a bidding war. If we went to the Democratic Party and say, okay, what you gonna do? Because if you don't do nothing, I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if black leaders, black pastors went and said, look, Joe, Trump done laid down $500 million. What you gonna do? $500 billion. What you gonna do? If not, I'm gonna tell my congregation don't do nothing on election day, and make them get into a bidding war. I mean, that would be amazing. And I think, and I will say this, and I know people are gonna be upset, but I'm happy and thank Donald Trump for stepping outside the mode and saying crazy shit, because as the election gets closer and closer to November, Trump is going to say crazier and crazier stuff. And he's taking it outside the realm of politics. And he's talking like an auction block or not a businessman, just talking like a crazy person. And that's what we need. We need to break out of this shell that we need to be all stiff-tied and all. No, we need, how much money are we going to get? How much are you going to pay me? And that's what we need. We need a bidding war. And Trump is starting the bidding war. Now, the point is that me, you, and us in the black community, we have to use our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, and we have to clown Joe Biden and those folks. Say, what are y'all going to do? What y'all going to do? Trump made his offer. What are you going to do? Because we're not loyal to any party. We're looking at what's best for our community, and what's best for our community, if it helps the black community, it's going to help America, because black people are going to spend their dollars and products and clothing with other Americans anyway. So it helps America anyway. So don't be, there's no fear. So what can we say, man? This can start a bidding war. And we need the bidding war. We need specific.
We are going to have to do this after the debates, after what could just turn into a case of elder abuse, quite frankly.
Man, did you see Trey D's comments? He said Trump is going to clown Biden very, very hard. Trump will call him Sleepy Joe, Dementia Joe, and tell him that he looks like Fire Marshal Bill from In Living. You're right. Trump is going to clown Joe very hard, and Joe might slip up and say something ignorant. And Joe has a tendency to do that. So, but I'm telling you, this shot in the arm, and this is, and you don't tell me that you're not surprised by this last minute Trump move. This is a last minute Trump move, and Trump is going to make bolder and bolder moves. And he's going to throw off the Democrats with these surprise Hail Mary plays. He's going to run these reverses. He's going to run these trick plays. He's going to do the no huddle. He's going to do a no huddle offense to throw the Democratic Party off all the way down to the election and during the election. And he's going to be tweeting and clowning Joe during the election all night long. And then from November to January, he's going to make it dramatic. He's going to draw it out no matter what, especially if he loses. He's really going to act a fool.
Yeah.
And
a lame duck president sitting in the White House, and he knows he's shut down in a couple of months.
You know, I don't know. He might go and pardon. He might go pardon everybody out of prison as mad. You know, remember when the Confederates lost? You all know that when the Union Army was coming, and they heard the horses of the Union Army coming, the Confederates were so mad they gave some of the property to the slaves. They said, "I hate those carpetbaggers so much. I'm gonna give it to old Negro Joe and Bessie Mae. You can have this land."
Well, on that note, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
It was a good discussion. I want to thank everybody, man. Everybody made. You know what? I want to say one thing, man. I'm very, very proud of not only your listeners, but I'm swelled with pride because our community. I've been on these different forums, and our community now, the comments are so mature, they're so smart, people are nuanced, and it's very different from 20 years ago. And I just want to thank everybody because all of you guys are important. And remember, we can disagree, but not be disagreeable. We got to be on code, family. We can disagree, but not be disagreeable. There's some universal things that affect our community that we need to support regardless of who's in office. And I want to thank you guys. Remember, we can disagree, but not be disagreeable. So I'm happy and remember that from me. Disagree, but not be disagreeable and stay on code. Go ahead, Yusuf.
No, I was going to say we got some good comments, and I actually got some private comments from some people who are in my Patreon community that we are probably going to have some independent discussions about this privately. And for those who don't know, my Patreon is where I put all the things that are a lot less fun than what I do on YouTube. This is the Patreon is where I put a lot of the hardcore business information, where a lot of the business networking goes, a lot of the details on how to get certain things done, from getting criminal background checks to travel abroad to what to do with stimulus money. That all goes here. And for those who don't know, I'm not going to read through all the stuff, but I'm going to leave a link here so that, let's see, fine.
Everybody like and subscribe. And if you can't join Yusuf's Patreon, send him some Bitcoin, send him some Cash App, send him some PayPal. I know he doesn't do those things. If not, just send it anyway. Join. Look, seriously, we need independent. Right now, we need independent media. And Yusuf is not owned by any corporation, no party. He doesn't even monetize like he's supposed to keep us independent. So let's keep supporting independent brothers and sisters like him and yourself and you guys. And if you guys got your channels, hit Yusuf up so you can hit me so I can subscribe to yours. And let's keep our independent voices going, because you all do realize that social media influencers have millions of followers now, and they can compete with the major networks. So Yusuf,
I don't have many followers, so I need everybody to click the subscribe button.
I need Watif up to Tariq Nasheed level. I need him up to Yvette Carnell level. I need him up to Roland Martin level. So I need y'all to like, subscribe, and comment and repost. And during the next discussion, and Yusuf, next time he's going to give us an ample forewarning so we can build it up, so that the next discussion we can have a big throwdown. We'll throw down at the OK Corral. We'll call it Has Trump Corral, the OK Corral. So that's what we want.
All right, Dave, you stick around. We're going to say goodbye to them, and we got some private